Welcome back to Writer's Workshop, boys and girls. I'm so excited to see you back today. Now, I know that you friends know what a robot is. And a robot is something that a scientist works so hard on. The scientist puts all the parts together. But you know what? That robot doesn't come alive and move or talk until the scientist makes sure that it has electricity, that it has power. Well, just like how a scientist puts parts together and then makes sure it comes to life by giving it electricity, writers do the same thing with their stories. Writers put words together to tell their stories, and they use special strategies to bring that story to life, just like how a scientist will give those parts electricity to make it come alive. So, I'm going to ask you, what strategies have you been using to bring your story to life? And what are you going to use as the electricity in your writing to bring it to life? What have you been using? Ooh, that's a good one. Yes, I'm hearing some friends say that they're using our ways to bring stories to life strategies in that anchor chart we made. How we can unfreeze people, making them move and talk. We can tell the story in small steps, bit by bit, and we can bring out the inside, what they're feeling in their heart, what they're thinking in their mind. We also the other day just looked at our mentor text, Night of the Veggie Monster, and we looked at all the things that George Clements did and why he did it and how we can use it in our own writing. So today, I want to work with you more on one of those strategies that we learned from our author, George. I want to focus on the strategy of writing out the exact actions that someone does in the story. So, boys and girls, today I want to teach you that when writers want to make their stories really special and come alive, they use those craft moves, those moves that other authors do, and those moves that they've learned from studying the other authors and put them into their own stories. And just like we talked about a moment ago, one craft move that writers can use, like we learned from Mr. George McClements, we learned that we can tell the exact actions that someone does in our story to bring the story to life. So let's reread a few pages of Night of the Veggie Monster. And when you hear the book and you hear the words describing those small, exact actions that the character is doing, I want you to think about that and I want you to act it out, okay? So I'm going to read it out loud. I want you to act out those exact actions. Are you ready? Okay. I'm going to start in the middle of the book after he's already put the pea in his mouth. My fingers become all wiggly. I should see you wiggling your fingers. As the pea rests in my mouth, my eyes begin to water. My toes twist and curl up in my shoes. Now, I'm not going to show y'all my feet, but I'm twisting and curling up my toes. Ooh. So, boys and girls, did you see how when the author, Mr. George McClements, used those exact words, it was able to help us imagine exactly how the boy was feeling. And just now, we actually acted it out, and we saw how the fingers would be wiggling, how the toes would be curling. But you also, as you read a story, you can act it out in your mind and make a movie in your mind. And that's what we want our readers to do when they read your story. We want your readers to read your story and to be able to imagine it like a movie in their mind, or maybe your readers are going to want to act out your exact story. So, after learning this move and this craft strategy from George McClements, I would love if you friends could help me with one of my stories and help me to add in those exact details. So, I'll tell you the first page that I have so far. This is a story all about how I was going to surprise my students and tell them that we were going to have the most exciting, fun dance party. And I got them so hyped up and excited to hear what special news I had to share. So let me read you this first page, and I want you to see if you can help me. So here's what I wrote so far. One afternoon, I told the class, I have a surprise for you. Let's meet on the rug. I went to the rug and waited for the kids to come and sit. You know, after I read that, I realized I could do the same strategy and I could tell the exact actions of what I was doing. So I did tell the class that I have a surprise for you and let's meet on the rug. But I went over to the rug and I sat in my chair. And then I rubbed my hands together as I was so excited, waiting for them to all come to the carpet so I could tell them the good news. So I think I'm going to add that to my story. Let's see how this sounds. One afternoon, I told the class, I have a surprise for you. Let's meet on the rug. I went over to the rug and sat in my chair, rubbing my hands as I waited for the kids to come and sit. That sounds a little bit better, doesn't it? Can you imagine that in your mind? Because I'm telling you exactly what happened. I think I'm on a roll here. Well, next, as the kids were coming to the carpet, I was so excited. I had the biggest smile on my face. And you guys, I had to cover my mouth so that way it wouldn't give it away. And so I covered my mouth with my hands. So I think I'm going to write that on the next page. I smiled as the kids sat down on the rug. I covered my mouth with my hand so that I would not tell the surprise too soon. Have you ever had to do that? Cover your mouth so you don't tell the surprise too soon? I had to do that. That's so much better, isn't it? I can see how when I used exact actions and told my readers that through my writing, they could imagine a movie in their head and it made the story more detailed and exciting. Look, so much better now. So, did you notice how I asked myself, what exactly did I do? What exact actions happened? And those exact actions were like the electricity that brought my story to life. All right, so writers, today and every day, I hope that you'll remember when you discover a craft move from an author like we did, you can copy that move and you can try that move out yourself in your own writing. And so, just like we remembered from George's story, Night of the Veggie Monster, we can use exact actions to bring stories to life. I want you to see if you can do that strategy in your stories today. All right. So writers, it is now time for you to go work on maybe a new story, or you're going to go back to a story you have already been working on, and you're going to use our strategy of bringing your story to life by telling the exact actions that your characters did. All right, writers go write.